time now for the story of a former child soldier who's inspired a nation. Julius Achon spent some of his youth in the notorious Lord's Resistance Army in Uganda, but he overcame that to become an Olympic champion.
Well, he's now returned to Uganda to set up a foundation for children orphaned by the war. And he's doing it with the help of an Australian Olympian. Alexandra Fisher has the story.
Julius just floats across the finish line.
Julius Achon was born to run, but at just 12, he was on the front line of Uganda's bloody civil war, fighting for the Lord's Resistance Army.
We are all forced to go in the bush and fight as child soldiers, and we had to go. That's the only choice, because if you don't go, they would kill you.
After 3 months, a government plane attacked the rebels' camp. Julius and other child captives escaped, but not all of them made it home.
The plane was mistaken as to be the rebels, and 9 of my friends, they were all shot dead, and 6 of us made it home.
But his prospects were bleak. His family could scarcely afford to eat, let alone send Julius to school. His only chance was to run competitively.
Because I heard when you run good, you get free education.
Not only did he get free education, he was selected as the only Ugandan to represent the country at the World Junior Championships in 1994.
That's I remember first time I wore shoes and I flew by plane and I won the gold medal for Uganda. That's what changed everything.
He was offered scholarships from a number of US colleges. He chose George Mason University.
When I began my school, I could not afford the $5 school fees, which is $15 a year, but now I was in the United States with a $30,000 a year tuition fees, a scholarship. I just saw that God had a favor in me, really, because I could have been dead.
Racing in America's national college titles, Julius proved his talent again and again. In 1996, he won the 800 metres and the 1500 metres, setting new US college records, which still stand today. He went on to represent Uganda in the 1996 Atlanta Olympics and 2000 Sydney Olympics, making it to the semi-finals in the 1500 both times. But he was haunted by his home life. Julius dropped out of George Mason University and flew back to Uganda. He found his parents alive, but he stumbled upon something he couldn't run away from.
When I was running one time in my village, in town, then I saw these 11 orphans laying under the bus. I thought they were dead body. But one of them got up and asked me for money. I said, I do not have money. Where are your parents? He said, their parents being shot. And I said, can I walk you to my home? Then I walked them where my mom and dad were staying in a refugees camp. And I told my parents, I said, take care of this kid. When I go back to the United States, I will be sending money for food. And my father, they accepted.
Julius returned to the US and began work as a pacer to elite runners at Nike. He continued to train and qualified for the 2004 Athens Olympics, but he never got there.
And later on, I received the message that my mom was shot and they needed some money for the surgery to remove the bullets. They needed $1,500 and I didn't know anybody, and I was receiving $1,500 as well fixed in USA. It was very tough. And then she bled 4 days and then she died. And so my frustration, the stress kept going deeper and deeper. Yet I had these 11 orphans, but I didn't want to give up on them.
Julius struggled to financially support the orphans, but found an unlikely alliance with Australian Olympian Eloise Wellings. She says hearing Julius's story gave her perspective.
Julius's motto in life is to never give up, and I think, you know, I've kind of adopted that as well, like in my running career, because, you know, I was measured for 3 Olympic uniforms, and, you know, just injured each time, and then just went through so many ups and downs in my running career. But every time I thought of Julius's story and his, how he got through so much more than, what I was going through, it just gave me strength in a way.
In 2009, Eloise travelled to northern Uganda with her husband to meet the orphans.
We came back to Australia and we just thought that there was something that we could do, that we should start something in Australia so that at the very least, we could get the orphans sponsored by individual Australian families to take the pressure off Julius. And when we started the Love Mercy Foundation, that was our original goal, just to get all of those kids sponsored by Australian families, and that happened within the first week.
This year, the Love Mercy Foundation and its sister foundation in the US established a medical clinic in northern Uganda to help the war-torn region's dire health system.
He shared that he wanted to honour his mum by putting a medical clinic in his village.
Then I regretted, if there was a medical clinic, maybe my mum could have survived.
Julius Achon escaped northern Uganda with a dream of a better life. But in years spent racing forward, he never stopped looking back.
There's this general comment that I've heard so many times when we've been in Uganda. People will come up to Julius and say, "Thank you for coming back for us."